Hi,
Hey, darling, how are ya?
I'm good. How are you?
It's good to see you. How
Good to
are
see
things
you.
going?
It's hot here and there's all the corona, but everything's fine. How's it going over there?
Can't complain. I'm visiting my folks. I've been out by the woods. Dog got in the poison ivy. It's been a good time.
Well,
You
Kim,
know?
for those of you who don't know, Kim is a Los Angeles casting director and sometimes St. Louis casting director, and she is coronavating, coronavating in Illinois, from what I gather. Is that correct? At your parents' house, like all the
Temporarily
stars.
spending time with my folks. Yeah. And
Yeah,
so, yep,
no, it's
it's
good.
fun.
And for those of
Yeah.
you who don't know, I'm Rose Rosen. I'm in Florida, coronavating. And we're
So
here
we,
to talk to you about casting because we can right now, and it's a good time.
right. It's a great time for it.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. What do you want to chat about today, Kim?
Oh my gosh, Rose, like don't even get me started. Because like we always say. So had a couple of gigs this past week, right?
Uh-huh.
And last night I about hit the roof because like I started getting all these emails to my personal email address from
Oh my
talent.
God.
Yeah, and because agents and managers gave it to them
Right.
because they missed their deadline to upload. And
Oh.
uh-huh.
Oh,
And
right.
so their agents and managers thought it'd be fine just to email it to me. Even though the very first sentence of the instruction says no late submissions will be accepted.
Right. So let's give them a backstory on this. So this has happened to me many times too.
Mm-hmm.
So what the casting services do for us is upload this stuff now, which is really nice. Casting Network does it, and of course, Breakdown has done it through EcoCast for some time. Casting Networks is doing it, but all of them have a definite cutoff. Now, when you used to send us to wherever we said via WeTransfer, it would come directly to us and we'd have to painstakingly do this ourselves or have our assistants do it or what have you. But so now it sounds like in order to subvert this, the agents are doing some kind, or the actors, whatever, are doing some kind of crazy, hybrid of the two, which makes us nuts.
Well, and now, in all fairness, this particular project was a hybrid of the two, only because the client only wants one link,
Mm,
either a Cast Networks link or an EcoCast link. They don't want to have to look at two different links.
I get.
So we have to pick one or the other, and then so for example, if I get people off a Breakdown, and I know I'm going to get a lot more on Casting Networks, then I'll tell the Breakdown people send it to me via WeTransfer, and then we have to upload all them, or vice versa. If it looks like we're going to have more people via Breakdown and less from Casting Networks, we tell the Casting Networks people send it to us via WeTransfer, then we can upload it. So we're not sending any talent to anyone's competitor's site.
Right.
So there you are uploading. So we knew we'd be uploading till like midnight already, but I must have gotten like 20, and we have a separate email specifically for that saying,
Right. I do
send
the
it to
same.
this email address, right? They'll get an auto reply saying it's been received. But I think we had about 20 to 25 more people after the deadline, like at 10, 11 o'clock at night, sending me like 5 hours past the deadline, sending to my personal email address. Here you go.
And so that's crazy, just in and of itself. And then the question we have, because Kim and I work in a real similar way, we're
Mhm.
probably not evil, and
Yeah.
we really want the actors to get the work. That's the thing.
Mhm.
So we're very torn at 11 o'clock at night. I promise you, I can't tell you whether or not you did upload or didn't, but I can almost guarantee you, knowing you, that you would have looked at them and said, this one's really good and I really need this. And so you put it in. But the question I have for the actors out there is that fair? That's
Right.
the whole thing. Is that
Well,
fair to us?
right. Right. And it's just to me, it was so inappropriate for agents to forward my personal email to anyone else without
No,
asking.
it's wrong.
And then, there I am at 1 a.m. sifting through things.
Right.
So it's not fair to me to ask me to do like an extra couple of hours of work after a 14-hour day, first of all.
Right.
And it's not fair to the other actors who got theirs in on time.
Right. It's not professional. It's not fair. And it's not a good thing to do. So that's one thing. Let's talk about other ways that they contact us and is inappropriate. I get a lot of Facebook inbox messages. And it's like, we like to be social on Facebook. We like to have a personal, we like to have a business. And, I was raised to not be terribly rude to people. So it's hard to disregard. So I prefer people to just be professional and not message me on Facebook. If you're an actor and you're really not my friend, then you're really not my friend, and ask your agent to get a hold of me. Now, if I found you out in the world via Facebook and this is how I told you to get a hold of me, which is not how I would do it. Right. I have a separate email set up for those responses. And that way, honestly, it's because I don't want to lose that. Mm-hmm. A Facebook message is just, it's nothing to me. But if you send me a proper email the way I'm asking, this is all that's important for that casting.
Yep.
Yeah,
for sure. And, with Facebook, it can go into that other box and we may not even see it. If I
think months later, the other box.
Right. If I have something that's really difficult to find, and I might put a note on my Facebook page, my friends, hey, if you know anybody who blah, 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 right? And it always says, do not message me via Facebook.
Of course.
You must respond to this email on this chain. Feel free to copy, paste this, share it, right? And people still, you'll get 20, 30 Facebook messages.
Yeah. I mean, I'll repost for you. You'll repost for me. We've done this over time.
Right.
And I'm sure it'll say, this isn't my project. Make sure you, and they'll still be inboxing me questions.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'm not the person that read. Honestly, and I'm sure I say this in every message I send to the actors. It's just, please follow instructions and read. That's it.
Reading is fundamental.
That's what you always say. It's true. So I'm noticing, I think we have a guest here today. And oh my God, it's Seth Colton! Yay!
Hey, Seth, how you doing?
Yeah. Seth is a working actor in Los Angeles. He has a podcast called Obsessed. So I want you all to follow that. I think I'm going to do an hour with him, and Kim's already done one. So
it's great. It's so great. And I got to tell you, it's such helpful information for actors. And Seth is one of my favorite people in the world. Love Seth so much.
So what else are you doing? You might as well spend a few hours with Seth on a podcast.
Right.
Thank you. The reason I wanted to pop in on your conversation right now is because you're talking about the right way to talk or approach casting directors and introduce them yourselves. Well, for an actor, that's scary, right? Because we need people to know who we are, so we have opportunity to come and audition. But there's a right way and a wrong way. And one of the right ways I'm finding is like through my podcast. If you have an audition with Kim Swanson and you've never met her, you can listen to her likes and dislikes on the podcast. But if an actor is unrepresented and doesn't have the ability to get in with you or to get known, they tend to panic and try to find all these out-of-the-box creative ways, and it ends up turning out kind of creepy.
Yeah, it does. You feel like it's stalkers. And there are some people who are, I'm sure, Rose, you've had your couple of stalkers who you're like, oh my gosh, it gets a little scary,
Block them. If anything gets weird, that's the end of that situation. Yeah.
The reason I started Obsessed was because I was one of those stalkers. When I first arrived in LA, I had no idea what to do, and I legitimately led with enthusiasm instead of intellect, unfortunately. And most actors who come across as stalkers are just like talented creatives and have no idea how to go about the business. But now, like with what you guys are doing with these lives, there's so many ways for actors to learn what's professional and what's not professional. And actors, I'm talking to you, if you lead off being unprofessional, they're going to think of you that way, and you're going to be stopped short in the tracks. So
well, and don't you think, I mean, there are so many like networking groups and seminars where they say, you know, you need to become friends with casting directors. No,
Yeah,
no,
I think that's a big problem. I think there are a lot of not casting director things like that that are putting out real misinformation. So, you know, hopefully somebody will listen to this and realize, I mean, universally, no casting director wants direct contact with talent. They don't ever want talent reaching out to them unless they are real people and we have requested it. Business wise, you know, listen, we are all friends with certain actors. There's no question. You know, we're all people, but I'm just talking about our professional lives. And I think that has to be separate. And it's not elitist. It's just, think of it this way, folks. If you're a casting director, we see thousands of people, literally across our desk, now it's only across our computer screen. And it's mind-boggling. Certainly we can't be friends with all of them. And the reason there are talent agents is because we don't have the time to contact all of you. That's the talent agent's job. And if we spent all of our time talking with talent, guess what? We wouldn't have time to get you guys jobs. And that's what you want, is the jobs. So that's the main thing. It works against you.
can I say this? Have any of you guys ever had friends that do multi-level marketing?
Oh,
like
yeah.
Shampoo, or they're selling vitamins.
So funny.
Sometimes you don't want to answer the phone, right? Because you feel like you're about to be sold something.
Right.
I feel like that's what happens with actors. Actors are so busy trying to sell themselves, unfortunately, that it means it's hard to have a friendship or a relationship with them. You need that buffer, because sometimes you don't need to be sold to, especially when actors don't know what you're in the market for.
Right.
But actors have to believe in themselves. So, I mean, that's just...
It's a difficult conundrum.
What I tell actors, especially when like a perfect example for Facebook is, look, if we aren't friends that have gone out to coffee or lunch, if I've never invited you to my home, you've never invited me to yours, we're not going to be Facebook friends.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And I think that people go, oh, because, you know, like on my Facebook page, I keep most of it private. It's, you know, it's mostly my family, and you don't need to be peering into my family's business or happenings. It's just not appropriate. But then I think, like a lot of casting directors, I have a separate page for specifically casting, you know, and that's the Casting Factor. And I'll put industry news up there and bits of information. I'll put these YouTubes up there and things. So to create a resource for actors and a way for them to know and get information and a little bit of training and or even information on where to get training and how not to get training. So, you know, we make that available completely free, and it gives you all the clues you need. Oops, where's my parents' phone?
This is your regular Zoom, you know?
Right?
Something always happens. But that's, and I actually, my personal page, I have a lot of actors because I believe it does get a lot more traction on Facebook. So if I'm looking for something, so basically if you're my Facebook friend, you're not my real friend. I mean, you know, and I don't put a lot of personal stuff up, although people think I do. So who knows? You know, it is what it is, but we want to be friendly and nice, and we want to get you guys jobs, and just kind of balance that. And I don't, you know, we like for you to contact us through your agents, but if you don't have an agent, what's your favorite way of an actor to reach out to you, Kim?
You know, there are a couple old school things to do that I think are very effective. Like, send me the little postcard with, you know, saying thank you for the audition. Send me the little postcard when you have a play, you know, when we're not in the middle of a pandemic. I actually go to those when I can, you know, and, you know, or industry events in general. You know, I will go when I'm not bombarded by work, and when time allows for it, and it's safe. But, I think, the best way to reach out is just to submit and follow instructions, because I think actors forget that the submission is kind of a test. Can you follow direction? Are you going to be a pain in the neck? Are you going to, constantly bug us? If you are going to do that, that tells us you're going to be a pain to the director and to the producers, if you're super high maintenance. So how about you, Seth? You've talked to so many casting directors. What are some of their favorite ways to have a talent reach out to them?
Well, it's interesting because what you guys are talking about is an issue for every casting person that I've talked to, about actors who sort of reach out and intrude a bit into their personal lives when they want to keep it professional. Now, Kim, I don't know about you, Rose, but Kim here in Los Angeles is one of the casting directors who's always posting her casting notices directly towards actors as well, besides just talent reps. So there's opportunities for unrepped talent to get a hold of Kim for auditions. So she's made it pretty simple that way, which is just pay attention to her casting notices and wait till you're appropriate. Rose, do you do the same? Do you ever go directly to actors?
So it depends. Basically, if I'm looking for the something that's outside of the acting pool, I will go there. But my first choice is to have talent agents, because it's just harder. But if I need scratch golfers, if I need certain skills, certain types, of course I go out into the pool. But I prefer, even that, I hate to cast on the public billboards, because you get a bunch of, it's inappropriate stuff you get back, in my opinion. And I like it. That's why I keep my Facebook group, because that seems to be a cleaner what I want.
Got it. So then I love the idea, if you're in Rose's area or in some other market where people aren't posting directly to actors most of the time, is to get into a play, to create a short that you post. Something, because you want casting directors to know you, but you want them to know you for your work, and
Right.
not for somebody who wants to be involved in their lives in any other way. Because literally, you will not have the opportunity to audition for them until they have a role that's appropriate for you.
Right.
It may be the greatest in the world, but that doesn't mean they're going to create a role. They're not going to talk to the writer and say, "Oh, I met this guy, Seth. We're going to have to write something for him." It doesn't work that way.
What?
Right. And we're not going to remember when we need you. It's really hard to remember what, that, oh yeah, that guy that emailed me 6 months ago. It's just, the chance of you landing on my desk at the right time is 0 to none. But, like during the pandemic, I had a quarantine monologue challenge. So I would watch tapes that way on social. So that was good. I did #quarantine monologue, and I'm going to do Meals for Monologues with the CSA, and that's virtual this year. So that's cool. So I think a lot of us are doing opportunities right now for actors to show us what they have. And I think that's good.
I agree.
Amazing, because we do, as actors, we need to stay creative, and we need to keep fine tuning, and we still need to make sure you see our talent. So I love that you are creating opportunities for actors right now during this time to still show you what their talent is like, how to see them.
Yeah.
Well, and I think another thing that actors often forget is, if you are taking a good, solid acting class, where you're doing scene work or commercial work, whatever, every week, and you're working every week, those good schools also have industry nights. And although they won't be able to do them this year, they'll be doing them virtually. So
Even
it's
better.
going to go to even more casting directors, that's a great way to get seen, because then they see your headshot, your resume, your materials, and your scene work with someone else to get, a sense of what your type is, your essences, all those things. There are so many little things you can do that help, I love the slate shots that Breakdown does, for example, because you see if they actually look like their headshot, first of all, which, as we know, Rose, like 80% of actors do not. You know, they've been
Don't
so
get me
bad,
started on that.
right? That's another whole thing. Don't even get us started, right? That'll be our topic next time.
Look like their headshot. Yeah, we'll bookmark that.
But it gives you a sense of their essence, you know, their energy, you know, are they that light, sweet, cute, or are they, you know, oh my gosh, you know, like you really get a sense of that. And just that, hey, hello, you know, I'm Kim Swanson moment, you know?
Right. No, exactly. But
So,
A recommendation I'd like to give to you guys
yeah.
and your listeners. It's a podcast. It's a great thing to binge. It's not long. It's this podcast called Dead Eyes. And I forget the name of the actor offhand who did it, but he was cast in HBO's Band of Brothers as a small co-star. And at the very last minute, he got the role taken away from him. And the feedback from his agents was that Tom Hanks said, "You have dead eyes." And now, all these years later, he's on a quest to learn what that means and how he comes across to casting directors. And it is so hysterical.
I love that.
Celebrities come in to talk about what their experiences working and in casting. And it's a great way to see that, because we actors do take everything personally, how that can get a little ridiculous. But it's called Dead Eyes. You'll love it.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
and on that note, don't take anything personally. This is all an industry. It's a business. You're a tool in the business, and just always remember that whatever we say and do, any of our comments and thoughts are not personal. It has nothing to do with you as a person. It has to do with you as a product, basically.
Right. We try to give you clues and hints that what you need in order to get the job.
That's it.
And if you read them and you pay attention to them, you'll have all the clues you need.
That's it.
You know.
That's it.
But
all right. Well, thank you for joining us, Seth. It was great for you crashing our party. And Kim, as always, this was a delight.
Good to see you both. Mwah.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.